The ancient Romans called him Orca or Canis, Latin for bringer of death. He is without challenge the most powerful animal on the globe, the killer whale. Orca has 48 teeth, set in 2 impressive rows. In some respects, the orca's intelligence may be even superior to man's. They remain loyal to one mate for life. As parents, they are exemplary, better than many human beings, and like human beings, they have a profound instinct for vengeance. An innocent creature is destroyed by an act of human cruelty, and the ultimate battle of man against nature begins. Dino De Laurentiis presents Orca.
Can you commit a sin against an animal?
He followed you. He saw you on the deck of the boat.
They always remember the human being who had tried to harm them.
He deliberately left you your boat because he wants to fight you on the sea.
I won't do that.
Now the fish have vanished from the fishing grounds. And it's all because of your whale.
And so we come to our last review of Orca, the Killer Whale, from the director of Logan's Run, this movie. Fun fact. This is definitely...
It actually had that kind of quality. It had the kind of quality of those highfalutin, dark sci-fi movies from the 70s, from the pre-Star Wars era.
Yeah. My problem with Orca, well, to be honest, I have lots of problems with Orca the Killer Whale, but I think that why it sticks out in this group and why I'm kind of disappointed revisiting it is that it's not fun.
This is the only one that I didn't like watching. It was tedious.
All of the movies that we've watched, good or bad, at least we're attempting to be fun. This movie isn't fun. This movie's trying to be a really fucking hard horror movie, I think. Like, about something thriller. And because it fails at doing that, and because while failing at doing that, it's not fun, it becomes kind of a chore. For me at times. Like, and there's so much about this movie that I want to like, and that I kind of do like. But in the end, I didn't have a lot of fun revisiting Orca the Killer Whale. And I was kind of surprised because, to be honest, I was really looking forward to it. So I have a tempered reaction to it.
I think it was pretentious. I think it was... So you said it was trying to be a horror movie. So Deep Rising, one of my complaints is it was trying to do too much. Orca was the same way, but it was so pretentious. So you just get the feeling that it wants to be Jaws. Obviously, it's comes out the year after Jaws. It's riding that wave. It kind of, I think, wants to be Moby Dick and have this sort of captain versus the sea thing. It's got this really heavy-handed environmental message. It's got the noble Indian who's laying it on super thick.
Oh my goodness.
And like just it's just a pile of garbage.
Well, here's the cherry on the top of that. Can I say about the cherry on the top of the pile of garbage?
Please.
I think Richard Harris is dancing as best as he can with this material. He doesn't flinch at it. He's trying really hard. I think he's a good actor. And, I get, a lot of the quiet moments of the movie where he's just staring out at the sea and regretting, the decisions that he's made to lead to this moment. Like, he feels like an old fisherman. I believe him, in those moments. But the rest of the movie, I kind of don't. It's like I have one credible performance trying to hold together a completely incredible movie, right?
Yeah, but his credible performances weren't even really working for me. And unfortunately, this one, we kind of have to get into the plot for why it falls apart. But basically, he's trying to capture alive Orca after, who's the woman? Bo Derek?
The main female character is Charlotte Rampling. Bo Derek is the woman who breaks her leg.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, Charlotte Rampling is a marine biologist who begins with this really long expository talk about how intelligent and powerful orcas are and how they have vengeance and love and all this stuff. And then our hero Nolan goes to capture one alive because he can make money, and he accidentally, he's got like a tranquilizer. He loads up too much, misfires, doesn't hit the male orca but hits the female orca, drags it on the boat.
She miscarries.
Has a miscarry. And actually, I think one of the two good shots, that miscarry was really visceral.
Horrifying.
When that whale fetus falls out of her vagina onto the boat.
And he sprays it off, horrified, of course, and we find out that he has a personal history where he can relate to what it feels like to lose a mother and a child simultaneously.
Yeah, and this is where I think his good acting actually weirdly hindered the movie. Because we find out at about the halfway point that he knows what it's like to lose a kid because of a drunk driver that killed his wife and kid, or pregnant wife or something like that. But the problem is it's all telling, no showing, so we don't actually care. We just get this guy kind of being sad about something that we have no experience of when we thought this was a whale movie that we were getting into.
Yeah.
And so it seems like when they try to, because at first he's like a smarmy fisherman, a really gross flirtatious scene where he seems to be threatening to date rape the
and
marine
you just
biologist.
know he smells like fish and cigarettes, right?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they decide to humanize him, but maybe they do too much, and there's none of the background that would make us think that he's human or care that much.
They also go out of their way to show that the killer whale is actually a friend to the humans before everything turns bad. In one of the earliest, most hilarious scenes of the movie, a diver is saved from a potential shark attack by a killer whale. It actually smashes the shark out of the water. It squeals, I believe, as it soars through the air.
Yeah, because this is a movie where sharks squeal and killer whales roar. Like bears.
Yeah. But you're right in what you say that there's sequences where they show the whales swimming and in all the other movies we don't get good looks at the creatures for the most part, whereas in this one we totally do. So when we see that mother bleeding all over the place and we see that baby fall on the deck, like there's a horrifying reality to it, which just put a sour glaze over the whole movie for me. It was just so awful. And it's not even done there. There's scenes of the whale pushing his dead mate around the water trying to get her to swim again, and it's just fucking give me a torture porn movie to watch at this point. It was really horrendous.
But those were the scenes that I liked, because those were the scenes where I actually felt something.
Right. Besides
boredom. I'm not sure if boredom counts as a feeling.
And how disappointing that we should be bored. This movie's set in Newfoundland, and I mean, we could have had a Doyle there. We could have seen some of that culture, especially since the community turns against them and seem to be really superstitious. They had this opportunity to give us some local color. You know, I was sort of talking about Red Water. They spent all that time sort of absorbing the Cajunness of it. Well, they sent this movie in a place that's very specific, has a very, amusing, loud culture that could be used, to sort of amp this.
That is important to the plot.
And they could have used that, and they didn't. They were just, dick fishermen,
Yeah. Although
show us the culture, show us the community.
In their defense, the killer whale does manage to explode some buildings on the shore.
Yes. Well, and that's we haven't even got to the degree, right? Yeah. So your wife and your kid are killed by this dude. You want this dude dead. But the amount of carnage brought among this community from this killer whale, and the amount of people to the left and right that are getting killed, I mean.
Well, I don't mind that, but I mind a killer whale exploding a bunch of buildings that are on the shore. Sure, have it terrorize their fishing boats. Why not?
Yeah, sinking the boats actually made the most sense. Like, he would know what those boats were. But somehow breaking a fuel line and being able to start a fire that, no, it gets ridiculous.
And also knowing that he was doing it. I'm sure everything about that whale
calculated.
Said it knew exactly what it was doing. Like, it had the blueprints for the town.
And this is also tainted because I watched a little documentary called Blackfish. If you ever feel the need to have a good cry, you can watch this documentary called Blackfish.
Was that the Free Willy one?
It's about killer whales in captivity at SeaWorld and how they get driven aggressive and insane by their captivity, which is why a lot of trainers get killed in the tanks with them.
Right.
But they said that specifically that droopy fin that you see on a lot of the whales, when they talk to the people in SeaWorld, they say it's a very common thing for the whales to have that droopy fin. But what they don't say, it's a very common thing for them to develop in captivity. You almost never see it in the wild. That droopy folded fin peeking out of the water should just look like a shark fin or like an irregular healthy animal. So the give and take of the fact that we had real whales on display here was that those whales do not live happy lives, And on top of that, they were cast to star in a movie that portrayed them as monsters. And again, I know that's none of the movie's fault, but it definitely distracted me. It was in the back of my mind and hard to get sort of let go of.
Well, let's talk about things that were the movie's fault then.
Okay.
There was essentially no plot. So we've already run down everything that happened. He kills this whale's wife and child. It terrorizes this town for a long time, and then he has to go out and kill it. That's the whole thing. But he's really mopey and sad because he knows what it feels like. So when he goes out to sea, he doesn't even really want to kill it. And you keep giving us hints the whole way through that he really just wants to get killed by it. And then lo and behold, he gets killed by it. So there's not even any climax. He's not like Roy Scheider trying to save the town from the shark.
And I have to say,
so he can get killed by the whale.
Charlotte Rampling was just a clear whiteboard. Like, the stakes were not reading to her at all. Like, people were dying, the weather was getting colder, the ice was crushing them in, the boat was starting to sink, she was stepping out onto an ice floe, there's an aggressive animal trying to eat them, and she looked just bored, like she didn't want to drop her fucking luggage. Like...
And like she was wearing designer clothes too.
Yeah, she wanted to look good when she got eaten, for sure.
Prepared for an expedition. And then you also had Will Sampson, the noble savage character, who was, by the way, featured as a noble savage in the classic Poltergeist 2.
The Other Side,
Craig
absolutely.
T. Nelson, and he, I mean, worse than the Cajuns were laying it on thick with their ancestral knowledge. His was just way too much. But then he took a weird, like, for some reason he wanted to kill the whale, even though it was this mythical creature that he'd wanted to protect.
Yeah.
And then he had volunteers. Nobody's pressuring him to go help kill this whale. And then he does. And like halfway through, he turns on. Like, it's like his character was being written as they were shooting the scenes.
Yeah, he just sort of fills whatever need the screenplay needs him to at a given time, and then he's just wiped off the board because this is all a conflict between, the main fisherman and this whale. So same thing with the other people who joined the ship. The one guy's girlfriend's leg gets ripped off by the creature in a really bizarre and horrifying sequence. So we understand his motivation.
Sort of liked.
Yeah, no, I mean, the idea of that is really scary. As a person who's scared of water monsters, the house on stilts that gets knocked into the water and that poor helpless woman with a broken leg being mauled, like, that works as a visceral horror movie, but it wasn't fun, I guess, again, I go back to. But I understand her boyfriend joining it. I don't understand the native guy joining the mission, and I don't understand the one other guy who has like 3 lines before he gets killed being on board. We don't know who he is. We don't know anything about him other than he's there to be whale food. It's weird because I had this memory.
He dies like a mannequin.
I don't know what it was, Matt, but I had this memory, like, when I was a kid, that this was a pretty good movie that I liked. And I liked it much less upon revisiting.
Yeah, I used to see it advertised in comic books a lot from the olden days. And the poster looked really exciting. It looked like it should have been a much better movie. I saw it was a teenager, so I knew that it wasn't any good. But I had forgotten how much everything didn't work in it.
Yeah. And in the end, too, like, It has this weird Frankenstein ending to it, right? Where the whale was basically made into a monster by the fisherman, and then pursues his creator into the deep, depths of the Arctic and kills his creator, and then itself disappears into the ice floe. Like, were we supposed to feel good about this orca getting its revenge? Like, the way the soft music is playing.
Well, you don't know.
You don't know if it's alive or dead, I guess.
Because it cuts immediately to that stupid hippie music at the end. This is one of the reasons why it didn't surprise me that the guy that directed this directed Lost Run, because this is the way all of those pessimistic sci-fi movies ended, with just a quick cut to really on-the-nose hippie music.
And now we're out. But, like, for me, if, like, the shark was swimming if the killer whale went under the ice and was swimming on under the ice, but it had nowhere to breach, like, it was killing itself, having killed its evil enemy, it had no more reason to live, and it was killing itself, then that could have been a point at the end of the movie, but we don't even get that. It just swims off somewhere. And then this nice...
Nolan dies, as we knew he was going to.
As he wanted to.
We knew he intended to 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's weird. I'm not going to say I didn't feel anything. Like, there was some stuff in the movie that I found horrifying, and the whale imagery was both beautiful but hurtful to see, and, like, I guess it does sort of twist a knife in your belly a little bit, but for all the wrong reasons. But in a list full of fun movies, this was not fun. So it's not going to rank super high for me.
On any list, I can't see it getting better than, like, maybe with a really bad list, maybe peaking at 5. But there's just nothing good about it.
But I was surprised. I mean, I don't want to give my list away yet, but when I first sat down to do this list, I would not have imagined that it ranked as low as it ends up. So.